Have you ever had a brilliant idea? A plan to start a business, lose weight, or write a book? You feel a rush of excitement. So what's the first thing you do? You tell someone. You tell your best friend, "I'm going to change my life." They say, "Wow, that's amazing. I'm proud of you." And in that exact moment, without you realizing it, you just killed your dream. Why? Because your brain just tricked you. You received the reward, the praise and the dopamine before you even did the work. You felt the finish line before you even started the race. Today I'm going to share a story from ancient Japan that explains why the most dangerous thing you can do for your goals is talk about them. This is the story of two artists, a dragon and the deafening power of silence. Act 1. The Announcement. In a misty village at the foot of Mount Fuji, there lived two sculptors, Kenji and Takashi. Both were young, incredibly talented, and hungry for glory, but they were as different as the sun and the moon. One day, the emperor sent a decree to the village. He wanted a new guardian statue for the imperial palace. "I want a dragon," the emperor announced, "but not just a statue. I want a beast so realistic that when people look into its eyes, they tremble. The artist who creates this will be named the Royal Master Builder." Hearing this, Kenji felt a fire ignite in his chest. Kenji was charismatic, he loved people, and he loved their validation even more. The moment he left the palace square, he went straight to the village tea house. He gathered everyone around. "Listen to me," Kenji shouted, slamming his hand on the table excitedly. "I have the perfect vision. My dragon will not just stand, it will be coiled, ready to strike. I will use the rarest black obsidian for its eyes. It will be a masterpiece that history will never forget." The villagers cheered. "Kenji, you are a genius. You've practically won already." Kenji soaked it all in. His brain was flooded with pleasure. He felt like the royal master builder already. Meanwhile, Takashi said nothing. He didn't tell his friends, he didn't even tell his family. He simply packed his tools, turned his back on the village, and walked deep into the forest to an abandoned shed. He locked the door. Weeks turned into months. Every morning, Kenji would wake up and head to the market. People would ask, "Kenji, how is the dragon coming along?" And Kenji would say, "Oh, it's going to be magnificent. I'm just refining the concept of the claws right now." He spent hours talking about the texture of the scales, the angle of the wings. But when he finally returned to his studio, staring at the cold, hard stone, he felt empty. The excitement was gone. He had already spent his energy in the conversation. The stone felt like a burden. He worked, but without passion. He was just going through the motions. In the forest, Takashi was suffering. Silence is not easy. Silence is heavy. Without anyone to tell him, "Good job," Takashi was forced to face his own doubts. Is this good enough? Am I crazy? But here is the secret. Because he didn't let the energy out through his mouth, it had nowhere to go but into his hands. His frustration became focus. His doubt became determination. He was like a steam engine. Kenji was letting the steam escape through a whistle. Takashi was keeping the steam inside to move the wheels. The pressure inside Takashi was building up, forcing him to work harder, deeper, and with an intensity that bordered on madness. 6 months later, the day of judgment arrived. The entire village gathered. Kenji stepped forward first. He pulled the cloth off his statue. Polite applause, murmurs. It was good. A nice dragon. The proportions were correct. The stone was polished, but it looked like a statue. It had no soul. The emperor nodded politely and said, "Fine work, Kenji." Kenji was confused. "But I talked about the fire in its eyes. I explained the grandeur." He realized too late, you cannot talk a masterpiece into existence. Then it was Takashi's turn. He pulled the rope. The cloth fell. The courtyard went deadly silent. The dragon looked like it had just landed from heavens. Its muscles seemed tense, as if it was about to pounce. The detail in the scales was so intricate it looked like real armor. And the eyes held a ferocity that made the emperor step back in genuine fear. It wasn't just stone, it was captured energy. The emperor walked up to Takashi, placed a hand on his shoulder, and asked, "How? How did you breathe life into a rock?" Takashi spoke for the first time in 6 months. He said, "Your Highness, I did not speak of my dragon, so the dragon had to speak for itself. I kept my vision a secret, and that secret became the fire that forged this beast." This isn't just a fable. This is psychology. In 2009, NYU professor psychology Peter Gollwitzer published a study that proved this phenomenon. He called it social reality substitution. When you announce your plans, "I'm going to run a marathon," and people applaud you, your brain registers that as a social reality. Your brain thinks the task is already done. It releases the dopamine reward prematurely. You tricked your brain into thinking you crossed the finish line, so it stops giving you the fuel to run the race. Think of your motivation like steam in a pressure cooker. If you keep the lid open, if you keep talking, the steam escapes. You feel good, you feel warm, but you cook nothing. But if you keep the lid tight, if you stay silent, the pressure builds. It might feel uncomfortable, it might feel lonely, but that pressure is the only thing that will cook the meal. So here is my challenge to you. The next time you have a big dream, a life-changing idea, protect it. Treat it like a seed. Seeds need darkness and soil to grow. If you keep digging it up to show people, it will never take root. Don't tell them what you are going to do. Wait until it is done, and let the results speak so loud that you never have to say a word. Be like Takashi. Build in silence. Shock them with your success.